Here's a question. When you land on a website, what makes you trust that business? What turns you from the casual visitor just going through pages into someone who is ready to hit that consultation button and work with that person? One of the answers, and today the topic that we're talking about is social proof. It really is that digital version of a friend recommending a restaurant, except in this case, your website is doing the talking for you. A lot of times, small business owners think about social proof as just slapping a few customer quotes onto a page and calling it a day. But there is an art and a science to making your social proof actually work for you. And I'm going to talk about the proof that doesn't just look pretty, but it actually convinces people to choose you, to say, yes, I want to work with this person. Today, I'm going to break down exactly what kind of social proof moves the needle, the types of testimonials, case studies, and other trust signals that don't just look good, but they actually convert. And we'll talk about some strategies that can transform your website from that traditional digital brochure into a sales machine. Because, like I say, you need your website to work for you 24/7. So let's get into it. Welcome to Website Design Made Simple, the podcast for busy small business owners who want a high-performing website that converts and sells their offers, even while they're sleeping. Because you deserve to have a strategic and beautiful website that truly represents your brand and positions you as the expert that you are. I'm your host, Jenny B., web designer and creative director at Jenny B Designs, where we believe that your website is the one thing that makes you sales and builds your brand at the same time. Ready to say goodbye to a website that you're embarrassed to share? And hello to a money-making, personality-packed powerhouse? Let's head into today's episode. Hello, thank you for joining me today. If we haven't already met, I'm Jenny B and I own Jenny B Designs. We are a brand and web design studio, and my passion is helping small business owners just like you design a beautiful website that truly reflects their brand personality and it attracts their ideal customers and makes them money. Today is a fun topic. We're talking about social proof. And not all social proof is created equal. I want to talk about some of the most powerful types that can really make people trust your business. The first one is the customer testimonials, and probably this is the first thing that comes to mind. These are the specific detailed stories with real names and faces that have quantifiable results. And remember, I'm saying this quantifiable. We want to throw in numbers and facts as much as possible, and then those before and after transformation. Another type of social proof is a case study. These are the problem-solving stories, the narratives. It's that step-by-step journey that your customer takes with you. These are concrete, measurable outcomes, and usually there's a visual, either a picture or graphics. For me, I do a lot of case studies on my website because I work with a lot of small business owners who come to me with outdated websites. And then together, we go through this strategic method that I have to designing them this final outcome, this beautiful website that works for them. And so in my case studies, I have a lot of before and after pictures, and also talk about the journey that my client goes on and the outcomes that they've received. Those are case studies. That's a type of social proof. The next type of social proof is metrics and numbers, total customers served. For nonprofits, total number of clients that they serve, total number of volunteers. There's the success rate percentages, perhaps dollars saved or dollars earned, number of years in business, number of clients. And then there's client logos. If you work with recognizable brands, this helps, get that implied credibility, that industry diversity. And these are these visual trust signals. Then there's the media mentions. A lot of my wedding photographers have this. They have press logos where they've been featured in what kind of bridal magazines, featured publications. Maybe they've been on podcasts or speaking appearances. Any type of third-party validation is really good for this media mention. Then there are awards and certifications. This is your industry recognition, professional credentials, to trust badges. When I work with accountants, a lot of them will have certified by QuickBooks, or if there's another financial institution, and they'll put that at the bottom of their website. Real estate agents as well put badges for awards and certifications. I don't know why I can't say that word, certifications at the bottom of their website. The thing is, it's not just about Collecting all of these types of social proof, it's really about the strategic placement and then the storytelling that resonates with your ideal customer as they're going through your website on their journey. Where you put the social proof matters just as much as what you're showing. A few of the best places to put it on your website: the homepage, even in your hero section. And I'll tell you how you can integrate this. When someone lands on your website, you want it front and center: who you are, what you do, how you help. I say this so many times, in an image that shows the benefits of working with you, the transformation that that person's likely to see. What you could also do, and I've been seeing this a lot, is add some either credibility badges near the bottom of your hero. So before you scroll any further down the page, but at the very bottom of the hero, you could add some badges that people see immediately when they land there. Another way I've seen people do it is if you have an image that is alongside of the text. I'm seeing a couple of people add some badges: number of clients served, or number of families helped, or even a short little quote next to the image that shows the transformation. I actually did this for one of my recent clients. She's a tour guide in Salem. If anyone lives in Massachusetts and wants to take their children on a tour of Salem that is not boring, she makes history fun. And right on the landing for her website, we have an image of her with all her students, and they're smiling and they're having a great time. And then there's a small little, I kind of like a Post-it note I put off to the side with a quote from one of the kids saying something like, "This was amazing," or "the best tour I've ever been on." That's a type of social proof, and that is placement in the hero. And you'll see this showing up more and more. I see it every day I go somewhere and I see another person or a small business doing this on their website. That is something to think of, that adding to your website. Another place to put it is near the call to action buttons. If you want someone to book a call with you, you would have some testimonials on your homepage, and then right below it, have that call to action: book a call. People are making that emotional connection. They're reading those testimonials. Wow, that person had success with what I'm thinking about doing. Maybe I should book a call. And you've got that call to action button, the strategic placement. Also on your services page or products page, this is kind of where the rubber meets the road. Like I always say, this is a very important page on your website where someone's making the decision. Do they want to work with you? Do they want to buy that thing? Having social proof on this page and then next to a call to action drives people to take that action. Also, in the pricing section, if you're talking about your investment, when you're making that ask to that person, sharing what you're able to deliver and the investment range, which, side note, I think it's always important to include some type of investment that it's going to be involved with working with you. There's just so much transparency in doing that. But having that social proof right next to it is another trust signal for that person, understanding that you are the right fit and for them to take action. And finally, another place that you could use is the footer. And we all forget about the footer. This is such important real estate. It's on every single page. Think about, can you use some social proof in the footer? And a lot of times you'll see this in the form of badges. But maybe you also see it in a quick little quote or an image. Think about what can you put in the footer for social proof. The psychology behind where you place them, I kind of mentioned this, but make sure that you're putting it close to those places where you want people to take action, those purchase points. You can also add it when you have a lot of copy. Perhaps you have a really text-heavy section, and it's all important text. You don't want to get rid of any. Quick question. Are you frustrated with your website? Not sure why it isn't converting? I would love to help. That's why I offer my website coaching calls. In just 50 minutes, we'll uncover what's holding your site back and create a plan to fix it. Whether you need help with design, content, or strategy, I'll give you the clear steps to move forward. Click the link in the show notes to book your coaching call today, and let's make your website your best marketing tool. Now back to the episode. Because it's very important to share with your client. They need to understand this all information. Think about breaking that up with some social proof and sprinkling that in. And make it feel organic, not forced. You want to make sure that if someone's going through your website, it's not jarring to see this testimonial from Jane about how she worked with you. It's part of the flow. You want to make sure that it's seamless. What you want to avoid is using generic testimonials. The standard Jenny was great. Jenny made my website look good, something like that, very generic. Instead of working with Jenny, we were able to get my website launched in 4 weeks. And since launch last week, I've had 4 different inquiries come through. Very specific and concrete, not generic. You also want to think about if it's outdated. If you had a testimonial on your website for, 5 years, I want to say even like a year or 2, that's a long time. Make sure you're reaching out to current clients and getting updated social proof. It does 2 things. Number 1, it makes sure that you have the latest information there because perhaps, your process has changed and these new testimonials are bringing to light some things that you wouldn't have highlighted yourself. But the second thing it does is if you're updating your social proof, you're updating your website, right? And then you're telling Google, hey, I'm updating my website. And it's kind of like that nice circle. And it just tells Google you're still in the game, in the search engine game. You want to always be updating your website. You also want to avoid tiny logos. I see this a lot in the credibility badges. Really tiny logos. Make sure that it's readable for anyone who comes to the website. And then when you're thinking about your design, you want it to feel organic, not forced. And this goes both ways. You don't want it too small, but you don't want it too big. If you have a really simple page and then all of a sudden you've got this crazy loud section about social proof, that might not be the best fit. No generic testimonials. Make sure it's super, super specific. Your social proof, when you think about it, it really just needs to answer the questions that your potential clients are asking. They want to know if you can solve their specific problem. Have you helped people like them before? And what real results can they expect when they work with you? When you're looking at your testimonials, see which ones bring this out. It's not about making you sound amazing. It's about building trust by showing genuine, verifiable success. And I've had someone actually just mentioned this to me in a workshop I hosted recently. She said, every time I see testimonials on a website, I just think that it's just random and they just place them there themselves. And my comment back to her was, well, if that's what you think, then perhaps they didn't do enough to make that emotional connection. Maybe the quotes, the social proof was too generic. Maybe there wasn't an image attached. Maybe it didn't have their location or their age. It wasn't specific enough so that she had some doubt. Making sure that you are specific and you can create as much trust and emotion as you can is a really key piece of the puzzle. Now, turning that social proof into a conversion tool, it isn't about quantity. It's about quality and strategy. There are psychological triggers. I mentioned this just a minute ago about showing people, showing photos, showing videos of someone talking about your services. Nothing speaks louder than video. And video not only makes that emotional connection, it builds trust fast, but it also keeps people on your website longer, talking to Google and making Google understand people like your website. The other triggers are using that specific measurable results, highlighting the transformation, not just the service. I now am getting leads every week with my website, not just I now have a beautiful website. There's a transformation there. You want to create that emotional connection. And if you can, what builds authenticity is using specific outcomes, being really clear. Maybe I'm talking about my website audit, the results that someone achieved from their website audit. If you can use someone's full name, if they give you permission, that's another way. Very detailed experiences, headshots, images, and verifiable results. These are all things that help with that authenticity. What really converts is those video testimonials like I shared. And you can use these on your home page, on your services page, on your about page, anywhere you want. Case studies do really well. When I use case studies on my blog, I actually get a lot of people who contact me because they learned about a case study that I had with perhaps someone that they knew. They learned that I did someone's website and then they read the blog post, the case study about me working with that client. And it did a lot to help my trust and credibility. There's some narratives, those before and afters, that did a lot. What can you do to keep that social proof working for you, converting for you? Make sure that you update the proof quarterly. I love to ask for testimonials after every single project, and I have it right in my workflow. because I feel like sometimes we don't want to ask. We get too busy or we feel a little uncomfortable asking, but you're not going to get new testimonials if you don't ask. And if you build it into your workflow, then it's something that you're not even going to think about. You'll just know, for me, it's the day before we launch, I send an email asking someone to fill out a questionnaire about their time with me. That's just part of my process, and then I get the feedback. Ask for specific feedback. As I just said, I send a form, I ask specific questions, and then I cobble together a quote, and then I ask for final permission before I use it. But I'm asking very specific questions to get a specific answer. We're all busy, and if you're like me, when you get an email saying, can you please send me a testimonial? My brain is going, okay, yes, I want to write a testimonial, but what do I write about? How can I help? What can I be specific about? And I'm sure if that person asked me a few more questions, they could pull a little bit more out of me. So ask questions, ask for specific feedback. And then when you get that feedback, if you're turning it into a quote, put something together and using a storytelling approach. And this helps a lot with the case studies. If you're writing a blog post, using a storytelling approach, weaving it in where they started, what happened when you worked together, what happened after you worked together, the results that they're getting. Try to match the proof to your client's pain points. And your social proof is just a conversation. It is just telling those potential clients, those visitors on your website, I understand what you're struggling with, and here is the proof that I can help. Just like your copy does. Your copy, the words on your website do the same exact thing. And this social proof just up-levels it one little bit. Now, I have been talking a lot about data. I did a conversion series in January, episodes, I think, 30 to 33, all about the data and looking at it and analyzing and making decisions. And it matters in terms of your social proof. You want to know if your social proof is actually working. What you can look at is the time that people are spending on your website. You can look at the quality leads. Who are you getting? If you hadn't had social proof or you had just a little bit and then you add a lot, that's a change you made to your website. Are you getting better leads? Are people staying on your website longer? You can use, I mentioned, a heat mapping tool like Hotjar and understand how people are navigating through your website. And when they get to your testimonial section, are they dwindling? Are they staying there? Like, is it a heat? I love seeing those red, the balls that they have on the Hotjar when you go there. But because someone's been staying on that section, they've been reading your testimonials, then you'll know those are good testimonials. People are reading them and it's making a huge difference. And if someone is just scrolling through your website's homepage or your services page and not stopping to read those testimonials, maybe they're specific enough. Maybe they're outdated. They need to be a little bit more detailed. Think about looking at the data and making some changes based on that. Some action steps for you. Look at the social proof that you have on your website. Do you have any? If you do and it's out of date, should you get some more? If you don't, then what can you add? And if you have one form, maybe you have some client testimonials, can you add some case studies? I love a good case study. There's just so much potential there. Not only are you telling stories, but it's content for your website that you could optimize through search engines. And it's another way for you to share your expertise and build your leadership and get out there. Think about what you can add to your website. It's not about just bragging. It's about building that trust. It's showing real results and transformation. And, if you're sitting there thinking, this sounds great, where do I even start? I offer website audits, and I will look at your entire website and show you, as part of it, how to turn your social proof into a place that converts for you. You can click the link in the show notes to get started today. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you got some tips on social proof, how you can improve your website, make it a little better, and improve that emotional connection and really get more visitors and turn them into clients. I'll talk to you next time. And that wraps up another episode of Website Design Made Simple. I hope you found the insights shared in this episode valuable and takes you one step closer to creating a website that attracts more of your ideal clients and builds your brand. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. Your review will help us reach more small business owners like you who are ready to make more money with their website. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.